In this episode, I'm going to share with you a meal that I used to prepare for a dear friend of mine. It was his most favorite meal. So let's get ready to rattle some pots and pans. This meal comes together very quickly. First thing we want to do, I'm going to make the minty rice. You've seen me do this in other episodes. What I'm going to do is just roll up my mint and just give it a little chop chop. What we're going to do with this mint is infuse our water that we're going to be boiling our rice in with this mint flavor. And don't worry, it's going to be pretty subtle. But the more you let it infuse and the more mint you use, it will be a lot more flavorful. But it's still not going to be overpowerful like a mint that you put in your mouth to refresh your breath. So I have that done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be cooking a half cup of rice. So I want 1 cup of water for the cooking, and I'm going to add 1/4 cup for evaporation purposes because I'm going to let this mint steep, and it's just going to steep in that water until the water is infused. And then we could move on to the next step. We have our water that has been steeped with the mint. We're going to just go ahead and strain off. I'm just doing 1/2 cup of rice, so I need 1 cup of water, but I added an extra 1/4 cup for evaporation, and I've got probably just about less than 1/4 cup in there. So I'm going to add 1/4 cup of water to make sure that I have the proper amount. And for this, I'm not going to go ahead and worry too much about the straining because some of the mint leaves will make for great presentation. And there you have it. We're going to go ahead and just now do this like regular rice. Bring this up to a boil, add the rice, put the lid on, and don't touch it for 20 minutes. So I have my lamb chop there. I'm going to be doing 2, but I'm just going to show you 1. I want to trim off some of this fat. Just some of it, not a lot. And you have to make sure that on the other side, you're not going into your meat. You just want this fat cap. And yes, you can render this down. These chops came off of a French rack, and I didn't want to do the whole French rack. So there you have that. I'm not going to do any more, maybe a little bit here. And that's it. What I'm going to do is take a little bit of ghee, which is clarified butter. It's kind of softened, so I'm just going to rub it onto my chops. And this is going to give the seasoning something to stick to. And the rest of this ghee you're going to be using for what I call the Burnell sauce. It's not a Béarnaise sauce because I did not have, when I first did this, I didn't have access to fresh tarragon. So I had to use what I had, and he liked it, so the recipe stuck. So we're going to go ahead and season with your kosher or sea salt, your black pepper, and your garlic powder. Other side. Salt, pepper, and your garlic. Now these are ready to be seared. We have our sear pan up to temperature. We're going to take our lamb chops, and I'm going to first put it on the fat side to render that down a bit. This is about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Then we're going to take these off and finish them off in an oven about 250. Until we get our sauce done. I'm going to put it on the pan like that. So in this pan I have some ghee. And I'm going to start creating the flavors for the sauce. Now, one of the things that happened when I first started creating this recipe for my friend is that I didn't have access to fresh tarragon, and I did not have access to a tarragon vinegar. So I had to kind of cheat. And I also didn't have access to a shallot. So I used some yellow onion and some red onion. And we're just going to bring this up to a little saute. Just getting this incorporated into our ghee. Now I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of regular white vinegar. And a couple of tablespoons of some white wine. Spilt a little bit. And we're going to reduce this down until we have about 1 tablespoon of liquid left. Now in the making of this Béarnaise sauce, we have allowed our reduction to cool, which is what you want to do. We're going to take 3 egg yolks that have been separated and have some little bit of water just in case this sauce gets too tight. Now, usually what I would do was put it on the direct heat, take it away, put it on again. But because this is an induction cooker, once you remove your induction cookware from the surface, you have several seconds to put it back on, or else the machine will turn itself off. So you just want to go ahead and beat this until it gets silky smooth. Add water if you need it. And then when done, we're going to plate it up. Okay, we're going to go ahead and plate up. I'm going to start with some of the minty rice. Oh man, this smells so aromatic-y. And I'm going to go ahead and adorn my plate with this nice sauce. Then I'm going to take my lamb chops and set them right there, like that. Oh, baby. I'm gonna go ahead and garnish this with a few mint leaves. And I'd say to my dear friend, let's chow down.